Ha ha, you know what time it is. You've been waiting for this, Max and Molly, and I got a clue for you. This has absolutely nothing to do with the New York Giants. I'm talking about Steven's A-list,
Whatever.
my top 5 teams in the National Football League following week 1. Let's go to number 5 on the list. Give it to me, y'all. The New Orleans Saints. Why? Because they've got Drew Brees, that's why. Because they've got Michael Thomas, that's why. They added Emmanuel Sanders. They re-signed Alvin Kamara. And the defense with Marshawn Lattimore, with Cameron Jordan and the crew, with Malcolm Jenkins and Janoris Jenkins added to the list. Make no mistake about it, the New Orleans Saints are Super Bowl contenders. They're one of the top 5 teams in the NFL, no doubt about it. Let's go to number 4 on the list. The Seattle Seahawks. Give it to me. Why? Because they've got an elite quarterback in Russell Wilson. That's why, who leads this team year after year after year, continues to find a way. They got Rough Riders on defense. On offense, they got a running game with Chris Carson. And yes, I'm throwing Russell Wilson into that mix. You got DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett as your wideouts. Excuse me, I'm not ignoring what I'm seeing from these brothers, the Seattle Seahawks. Keep your eyes on them. Let's go to number 3 on the list, please. Who would that be? Here's a hint. He's a bad man. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Week 1. Why? Because of Aaron Rodgers, that's why. I understand Devontae Adams is there. Alan Lazard is there. I get all that. Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I get all of that. Still suspect on their running game. Still suspect on Matt LaFleur. Still suspect about that defense. But the bottom line is with Aaron Rodgers having so much to prove and throwing those dimes that he threw against Minnesota's defense, albeit with rookies at the cornerback position. The bottom line is this. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Because of Aaron Rodgers. Solely because of Aaron Rodgers. Not Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers. Number 3 on the list. Let's go to number 2 on the list, please. Give it to me. We know who that is. It's Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Why? Because of Lamar Jackson. That's why Mark Ingram is your quarterback, is your running back. I get all of that. Hollywood Brown is one of your receivers. Mark Andrews can ball from tight end spot. We know what he brings to the table. But in the end, the coaching of the Baltimore Ravens, the defense, the Rough Riders of the Baltimore Ravens, and the electrifying talent that is Lamar Jackson with Fright Night kind of status in every defense that goes against Baltimore because of this brother right here. They're number 2 on the list. They can't be number 1, and we know the reason why. Give it to me. The Kansas City Chiefs. We're talking Patrick Mahomes. We're talking Tyreek Hill. We're talking Sammy Watkins. We're talking Travis Kelce, okay? And Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the new rookie running back. Damian Williams opted not to play because of the pandemic. He might not have his job whenever he comes back because this brother out of LSU can run with the football. Kansas City, the reigning, the defending Super Bowl champions, led by Andy Reid, led by Eric Bieniemy, led by Patrick Mahomes, is clearly the number 1 team in football at this particular moment in time. That is Stephen A's top 5 NFL teams after week 1.
I can't believe it. I cannot believe I'm going to say this, but that list was perfect, including the order. I would have the exact same order. I want to say one thing. Usually the Patriots are not like overly impressive right from week 1. It takes time for you to see it. They were a 12-win team last year, and so what that it's Cam Newton instead of Tom Brady right now. It's the same old Bill Belichick team that gave up 11 points week 1 and won by 2 scores. So I agree with this list, and but you know, I know it's the Dolphins. Still, the Dolphins beat the Patriots at the end of last season when the Patriots really needed to win that game. I would put the Patriots number 6 right now.
Time out. Because I need to bring in a Super Bowl champ to help out with this. Jeff Saturday, I see that Max Kellerman's all kumbaya for the first time in life. Where are you on this list with Stephen A's football analysis?
I'll make some tweaks here. I would put the Packers down. I'd put them down at 5. I would say this from the Packers' perspective. Like Stephen A. said it himself. Defense still not 100% sure. Run game definitely not sure. So because of Aaron Rodgers and the way that he plays and with the chip on his shoulders, I would move him. I would move them a little bit down. But he obviously played a heck of a football game. Where are the Steelers? This is a big question, right? Everybody talks about the Steelers. The Steelers defensively, and I know they played the Giants, but this team allowed 19 points a game last year. okay? 19 points. They had two guys like me playing quarterback. They couldn't run it because Roethlisberger wasn't there. They showed up and absolutely lit up the Giants' offensive line. Roethlisberger came back. I think this team has to get in that little 4 slot because of the defense. This is not just falling in love because Roethlisberger's back. This is because they went 8-3 when they scored 11 points last year. 8-3 scoring 11 points. Roethlisberger is going to get you more than 11 points quite often. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, I got to put the Steelers up there. I would move the Seahawks up to 3. Listen, I undervalue Jamal Adams. And I'm going to go ahead and say, I know it's only 1 week, but that man was insane against the Falcons. I'm not sure I've seen safeties in the last 2 or 3 take over a game the way that he. Talking about Russell Wilson, who played lights out and should be in the MVP conversation week 1 with Lamar Jackson and Mahomes. But don't take away what that guy did on the defensive side of the football, because I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked that he brought that much energy to this entire football team. So as I'm looking at that 1 and 2, I'm with you, but the others I would have moved around. I would not put the Patriots up that high, and I'll say why. Cam Newton. The offense is going to have to carry this football team as the season progresses, right? You had so many opt-outs. I know they played really good football last year on the defensive side of the football, but the offense is going to have to score points to stay in phase with teams like the Chiefs, with teams like the Ravens, right? So they're going to kind of morph into more of a Tennessee Titan style team. So although I was very happy with the way Cam played, I would not put them. I would put them probably down in the 10 range when it comes to that. I do like what Josh McDaniels and Cam Newton are going to do. I just question with their receiving core, because they're going to have to use running backs. With their receiving core, can they hang 25 plus points a game? It's going to be tough for them to match those type of numbers.
Jeff Saturday, what I would tell you is, number one, my list is mobile. Week to week, it's my top 5 teams after that particular week, okay? So what I would say to you is this. You're bringing in last year into the equation. I'm bringing into the fact that the Steelers are playing against the New York Giants, who, by the way, not only is a suspect team, but's got a rookie coach that was never a coordinator before and an offensive coordinator that came from Dallas. So we don't know what kind of contaminated effect that Jason Garrett was going to have on the franchise. It ended up being a good thing because I thought he called up a good game last night. But nevertheless, the bottom line, that's a question mark. So that's why the Steelers ain't in the mix. Miami's not in the list. It ain't Tua at quarterback. It's Ryan Fitzpatrick, not to disrespect him, but we also know that when Ryan Patrick has started for a football team, he's never lasted more than 6 starts pretty much. So we got to take that into consideration as well. I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers. If you want to tweak it by taking the Packers at 3 and switching them and the Seahawks with 3 and 4 because of the rookie corners Aaron Rodgers was going against, I would have given you that going against that kid Dantzler. Poor dude's got a lot of potential, but the first start of his career, he's got to go against Aaron Rodgers. That was not a good position to put him in. So if you wanted to make that switch, I would buy that. But everything else, I think my list is pretty perfect.
And it's a perfect list. And look, first of all, I hate to say it, really, I hate to give him the credit, but he got it just right. And I took Seattle to come out of the NFC this year because we've seen what all-world safeties can do to a team. Like, the game is changing now, and that secondary is more important than ever. You saw it with Micah Fitzpatrick on the Steelers. You saw it with Jamal Adams on the Seahawks. That said, you still got to put Green Bay ahead of Seattle after week 1, because as great as Russell Wilson was, maybe one guy was better than Aaron Rodgers, maybe Mahomes, maybe. Aaron Rodgers was just different. And if that dude's showing up, especially you got to consider the quality of opposition. That's a divisional rivalry game they won. They won that game against the team with their own Super Bowl aspirations this year in their division. So you got to give Green Bay credit for that, Jeff.
No, I absolutely give Green Bay credit. I just think Russell Wilson and the Seahawks as a team are a better team overall after when we're talking about week 1. when I saw what they did to the Falcons and the way they played. I think Russell Wilson, as good as Aaron Rodgers played, I'm pretty sure Russell Wilson was 12 of 12, and then he went 12 of 13 because Metcalf dropped it. But other than that, that dude couldn't have went out and handed guys the ball better. So as well as the bad man played, you're talking about Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson played better than Aaron Rodgers if you looked at the totality of the game. Russell Wilson absolutely lit it up and can carry that football he's done in big-time fourth-quarter games. This guy can play and can compare, and that's same with number 12. So if I'm looking at the Seahawks, I think overall they played a better game in totality as opposed to the Green Bay Packers, even though they beat the Vikings, who is, like you said, a division rival.
Rodgers can make throws, just he and Mahomes can make, though. That dude is special.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you for bringing Stephen A. back down to earth. I can't let that head get any bigger today. It's been, quite a show for us here.
Went down to earth.
It's a respectable list. Respectable.
All right, Jeff, we'll talk to you soon. Coming up here on First Take, guys, we got a Game 7 tonight for all the marbles, a ticket to face the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Will Max regret picking the Clippers all season and going in on Kawhi? Find out after the break.
The NFL's back, y'all, and First Take is so hyped about it, but we want to see you rep your team. We want you all decked out in your favorite fan gear, and the most hyped fans are going to end up on First Take. So send us the video, tag First Take on Twitter, and we'll see you on